Hello! Happy Canada Day! This is, oh good lord, episode 45, 46? I've lost track, of the Wayward Skein. I've skipped recording the last couple of weeks because I was having some major connectivity issues in Chicago. It is Canada Day! Yay! Today is July 1st. So, I am back from Chicago. I have gotten very little knitting done, but I do have a couple of things to show off. So, today is Monday, July 1st, obviously, and I'm Lynn, I'm your host, and I'm known as Toll Baby pretty much everywhere on the internet. I read Reddit. I don't post on Reddit, but I read Reddit. I don't really tweet. I use Facebook, I use Ravelry. 100% in support of Ravelry's actions the last few weeks, by the way. I was so happy when I saw what they did. They have declared a ban on open support of the Trump administration. Okay, anybody who knows me knows I'm an extremely political person. At least I have been for the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm not going to be secretive about that. I'm not going to try to hide it. I am extremely opposed to the current American administration. Not so thrilled with the current administrations in Ontario or Quebec either. So there we are. But anyway, I was so happy, and I absolutely 100% support Ravelry's stance. I think they're doing the right thing, and if you think it's about censorship, you're kind of misreading the issue. But I am willing to discuss it civilly with people, but I'll honestly not permit open support of the Trump administration on my blog or in my podcast comments either. So there we go. I fully anticipate I will lose some viewers over this. And that's okay. Anyway, past the politics. So 3 weeks ago, good Lord, how many weeks has it been? 3 weeks ago, I think. It was on the 17th, so no, it was 2 weeks ago. A couple of Rob's friends from Milwaukee came to Ottawa to do some sightseeing with their family. And Rob came up on the train. I had to go pick him up in Syracuse. It rained the entire time they were here. So we had to do all of our sightseeing, most of it on foot, in the rain. And so we had a great time. And then Rob and I drove to Chicago with my son to work on his house, to prep it for selling and so on and so forth. And I was supposed to record on the Monday. Well, I couldn't get my laptop to recognize that he even had Wi-Fi for the first 3 or 4 days. And I wasn't going to try to record on my phone. I didn't have space for it. It just wasn't going to happen. So then the second weekend, I was supposed to record on the Sunday before I left to come home. Still having connectivity issues. And quite frankly, I forgot to pack the camera. So I would have been stuck using the cruddy laptop camera, which is not the greatest. So I decided not to do that. And so that's why you didn't get a podcast for 2 weeks. I'm sorry. But look what I did. Ooh, this way. So this is the first, it's a half finished object. It's a hoe. I finished Rob's first sock, and it's Jen finished. The ends are woven in and everything. I did not finish it before I left. I was on the toady greases when I left. So the ride home was horrendous. It actually wasn't bad until we hit Toronto. And we got to Toronto, and normally in Mississauga, I veer off onto the 407 and bypass Toronto entirely. Well, on the way down, which was on a Sunday, and I was coming back on a Monday, so that was my first mistake. On the way down, Rob was like, what would happen if we just went down the 401 instead of going up the 407? Let's see what happens. Okay, we saw what happened. It didn't add any time to the trip. It was pretty good. And it was a Sunday it was a Sunday lunch-ish. So it wasn't horrible. And stupid me, decided to do the same thing on the way home on a Monday afternoon. We hit Toronto around 5:30 in the afternoon. Things were moving well when we got to the 407 interchange, and my son and I agreed that we would just blow through and see what happened. Anybody who's ever been to Toronto can guess what happened. About 2 kilometers after the interchange, we came to a full and complete stop. Over the next 2 hours, we managed to make it about 30 kilometers. I don't even think we went that far. We finally made it to the Don Valley Parkway, got off, headed up to the 407, and then took Highway 7 the rest of the way home. Instead of back down to the 401 and then up Highway 416. It took forever. It was not pleasant. I have porcupine quills in one of my tires as a result. I ran over a dead porcupine in the middle of the road. Unfortunately, there are no lights anywhere on Highway 7, and it's very rural and very dark. And so at one point, there was a bunch of oncoming traffic. And once they had passed, I flipped my brights on, and there was this corpse of an animal in the middle of the road. Didn't even have time to register what it was before I was over it. I suspected it was a coyote because it was a pretty huge animal. Like, not cat or raccoon sized, bigger than that. Like, I don't want this to be upsetting, but like large dog sized. So I suspected it was a coyote. We were in the middle of nowhere, so I did not think it was a dog. But yesterday, my brother and my sister-in-law were looking at my car, and they were like, "Do you have porcupine quills in one of your tires?" I did not know. Now I have seen them. Definitely a porcupine. So anyway, the drive home was not great, but it is what it is. My son never wants to do that drive again. And he won't have to until we get married next year. So, anyway. So I did manage to finish the sock after I got home. I finished it. I did the Kitchener stitch at work on my lunch one day. And then immediately cast on the second sock, which I have lying around here somewhere. I was just out with it, so. This is the second sock. It only has about 6 rows on it so far. I have not had a lot of knitting time. I barely did any knitting while I was down there. I obviously didn't do any knitting on the run either down or back because I was doing most of the driving. We were somewhere in Michigan when I made Rod take over the driving. And then I napped a lot on the rest of the way there. And he actually made a really good time. We got there at a reasonable hour, and he got to bed at his usual, a little bit after his usual bedtime, but not by much. And because he had to work the next morning. So I actually managed to get him, we both managed to get him back at a reasonable hour. But yeah, I traded with, when he started driving, I sat in the back seat so my son, who is like 6 inches taller than me, could sit in the front. So I literally just slept most of the rest of the way because there was nothing else to do. I couldn't hear anything. So anyway, yeah, this is the standard sock that I do. It's a 3x2 rib. I follow the sock recipe, A Good Plain Sock Pattern by the Yarn Harlot. It is out of her knitting rules book. I don't actually own the book, but she taught me the method in the Grok the Sock class that I took with her, and I have not used a sock pattern since, unless I wanted to try out a fancy pattern. So I really like the way the tuning creases are. Those are my slip knits. Is that what they're called? Yeah, not my knit two togethers, the ones on the other side. Slip knit, I think that's it. So that's what those look like. They're cute. I do something a little bit different. My friend Elizabeth actually introduced me to this method of doing it. I can't remember where she said she learned it, but she said that when she does her slip knits, she slips the first stitch as if to purl, the second stitch as if to knit, and then knits them both. And it gives a little bit more of a defined lean to the stitch. Oop, that's not focusing because my face is in the picture. How about now? You gonna focus now? How about now? Yep, there we go. So it gives a little more of a defined slant to the left, to the stitch, and I really like it. So I have always done them that way since she told me that. So this is Fiber Stash Strong Toes in the ink colorway, and I picked that up at New Hampshire Sheep and Wool. I am working on the second sock now. I need to get my butt moving on it because, and this lives in my little Hanukkah needle keeper and unicorn squad bag that Mandy Pinecone made me, because I have a little bit of stash. And I need to get moving on this so that I can move on to the new stash that I acquired. What did I do with my needle keeper just now? There. Sorry. Losing my mind apparently. I will move straight on into stash because that was literally the only knitting I did. That's it. Finished the foot, did the toe, cast on the new sock. That's all I've done in 3 weeks. Anyway. I did receive a package. It was waiting for me in Chicago when I got there. Look at this bag. Isn't it cute? It says, I believe in unicorns, and it's got a white unicorn on it. And I love the color of it. And it was wrapped in this lovely little tissue paper thing, which I took apart because I couldn't stand not looking at it. It actually has, oh, I thought it was just a cardboard tube. Yeah, this is my invoice. It was a custom order from Night Owl Fibers. I had asked her if she could arrange to dye me another skein of this gorgeous stuff, which is the Rusty Hook colorway. You will remember it from my Color Affection, which is sitting right there. Good Lord, I have trouble with direction. Right there, my Color Affection is sitting, not yet blocked. But anyway, this was one of the colors I used. This was my main. So I ordered another skein of it to make Rob wedding socks. So because I need to get these done by next September, I'm not actually going to give myself till next September. I want to get these done as soon as possible. So I have to finish the first pair of socks so that I can get started on these. This one has a lot more of the teal I loved. Or maybe the teal is just more prominent when skeined up. But I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Still smells good. So this is Night Owl Fibers high twist sock, which is 80 superwash merino, 20% nylon. It is 400 yards of gorgeousness. Here's Rachel's card. Come on, you can do it. Anyway, yeah, there we go. She recently switched from Etsy to a standalone shop, so her website is nightowlfibers.com. And I highly invite you. She's had a Harry Potter club going for the last several months that I've desperately coveted, but money has been going into paying off debts for the last few months and not into buying yarn for me because I have a frightening amount of yarn. But now that all my debts are paid off, all bets are off. So no, they're not, but because I do still have a frightening amount of yarn. But I did buy this gorgeousness and I love it so much. I love all the colors that are in it. There's some gorgeous deep blues, there's some oranges, there's the teal. It's just so pretty. The teal is all disappearing in the bottom there. So yeah, that's my stash acquisition. It's the only yarn I've bought in a while, since Rhinebeck, I think. So that's pretty good, right? No, did I buy yarn at New Hampshire? I did. Duh. I bought the yarn that I'm making Rob's current socks. I'm a liar. I last bought yarn 2 months ago. Not so good. Anyway, so yeah, that's my stash acquisition, and I love it very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Rachel. She is very accommodating. And she does have a lot of really, really gorgeous stuff in her shop right now. I would highly recommend that you go check it out, especially as we have a 15% coupon code with Night Owl Fibers. And I believe it is Wayward 15, Wayward 15. So I would go check out her shop if I were you and see what I can get. I feel bad that she gave us this coupon code and then I just didn't record for 2 weeks. So what else have I been up to? Well, today I had the fabulous privilege of hanging out with the lovely Kate of Hawthorne Cottage Craft podcast. And I got to say hello to Selma and give her a hug of the Little Big Knits podcast because I got to hang out with Kate for a little while this afternoon after I left work. And yes, it's Canada Day and I was working. I volunteered to do a shift at the store. So I volunteered to get paid holiday pay to do a shift at the store, let's be honest. I figured that other people would want to have plans and go out and do stuff, and I'm not a big outside person in the summertime because, hot. So I volunteered to work, and I actually worked the opening shift till 2 p.m. And once I left, I jetted straight over to Ottawa to hang out with Kate for a little while. And then she was going to hang out with Selma, so I got to hug Selma as I was leaving and she was arriving. So Kate, being the absolute sweet lady that she is, I'm just reading the box right now, and I should really be talking to you guys. Look at this. She brought me this lovely box of tea. There are 40 tea bags in here. Good Lord. 40! Rhinebeck ladies, I will be sharing. Because there's 40 in here, it'd be selfish not to. So, the Facebook Rhinebeck ladies that I will be hanging out with at the hotel, you will all get some of this tea. And she also, because she is Kate and she is such a sweetheart, brought me this. It's a Belfast Starbucks mug. There's a story here. Last year at Rhinebeck, I gave her a Canada Starbucks mug. And she loved it. She thought it was great. It had been given to me by somebody else, and she went home with it because it just said Kate to me, and it had to go home with her. So this one, look at that. It's so pretty. It's got fishy. I love fishies. But I love the sort of ombre thing that they've got going on here. You can see it on the back a little bit better. So I'm loving that. And of course there's some little goodies in here. So that is going to go to work with me so I can protect it adequately. All my favorite mugs end up at work. That's where I drink most of my tea. So that will be coming to work with me tomorrow. Thank you, Kate. And I will be testing out this tea on the next podcast. So that's what I did this afternoon, and it was very hot outside, and we went to Bridgehead and had some nice cold drinks and hung out for a little while, and then we walked back to her Airbnb. I got to meet her husband, who is lovely, and her son, who is so cool. She's had him on the podcast a couple of times, and he is everybody's cool in person as he is on the podcast, and I thought he was a very, very nice young man. Selma showed up. She also had her son with her, who is also a very cool young man, although I haven't spent a lot of time with him. They are very fun people to be around, so I am sure that they're going to have a fabulous evening, and I'm going to be relaxing with my air conditioner, which I'm turning on as soon as I'm done with you guys. Not that I don't love you, but it's hot today. And this is the only air conditioning in the whole house. So I'm very fond of it. I do have other knitting. Sorry, I'll try not to scooch the computer with it. Oh, and I failed. So I still have not found the larger set of needles that we put away while we were cleaning up for the Lace Chuppah by Cat Coil. But I'm going to mount a concerted search this evening to find them because, quite frankly, it's getting a bit bunchy on this little needle. The next one isn't that much bigger, but it's a little bit bigger and it'd be easier to knit with. So this is my Lace Chuppah, which is only about, I'd say, 15% of the way done. I got to get moving on this too because I would like to get this done ahead of time because we're going to have to figure out how big to build the frame for it. But that's Rob's problem. I'm going to have to finish it and then block it so that he can figure out how large to build the frame and how we're going to build the frame from a foreign country. Maybe we'll build it and store it with somebody. I don't know. We'll have to see. So this is knit out of Bartlett Yarns 2-ply, which is an Aran weight, in their oatmeal colorway, which is a natural undyed colorway, I'm pretty sure. It's a very rustic, very scritchy yarn. I would never knit with it for something that I was going to wear next to my skin, but as this is going to hang over our heads, I'm good with it. And it lives in my Route 66 bag. For the time being, it will quickly outgrow the Route 66 bag, but for now, this is where it lives. And the other thing I've been working on, sorry, face is itchy. The other thing I've been working on, and I'm just about done the first ball, so no progress since you last saw it, is the Branching Out Scarf by Susan Lawrence. It is a freebie on Knitty. Can't remember what year, 2005 maybe? It's an older one, 2005 or 2007. It's an older one. I believe it was the spring issue. Anybody's guess. So I've been working on that. I'm about a third of the way through, and I'm working on this to be sort of like a fashion accessory for myself, a warm weather scarf. And we'll see if I can actually tolerate wearing it because I'm always hot. And that lives in my Java Jenny kitchen counter crafter bag, which is all pumpkins, and it makes me happy. I don't use it just at Halloween. I use it all year long because I love pumpkins. October is my favorite time of the year. So that's all I've been working on. I have not yet gotten back to my Find Your Fade because I still haven't found the pattern, which means I may need to buy it again. Which would suck, but there we are. I will have to buy it again because I can't find it. And I think I bought a paper copy somewhere, which is why I can't find it, because it should be in my Ravelry library if I bought it electronically. Anyway, I'll figure it out and I will get to work on that again, but priority is the socks and the chuppah right now. So that's what I've been up to. I don't have any tea going right now because it's hot, and I didn't think ahead and make some iced tea this morning, so no tea for me. My pitcher is sitting there in the drying rack, though, and I think maybe I will make a pitcher of tea for tomorrow. Because it's hot. I'm not a fan of summer. I would actually rather go through 10 months of winter a year than have to deal with this heat. I just don't deal with heat well. I don't process it well. I dehydrate very, very quickly, and I am super prone to heat stroke and vasovagal reactions, which means passing out because I'm too hot. As long as I stay adequately hydrated, I'm okay. But I have a lot of trouble regulating my temperature if I get dehydrated. But anyway, I know a lot of you are enjoying it, and I hope you're out having a blast at cottages and on the lake and camping and doing all kinds of cool stuff this summer that I would never do in a million years because I can't bring my air conditioner with me. That said, I did have fun on the lake. What the heck lake was it now? I don't remember. Rob, you're going to have to tell me what the name of Pat's lake is. We went to his friend Pat's cottage on the lake, and it was very, very windy that night, so there were no bugs. It was great. And we had a good time. And he took us out on his pontoon boat and did a tour of the lake, and it was somewhere in Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin's a big place. I have no idea. I know it took us forever to get there because all the bridges were closed. There was some flooding recently, and I guess there's a lot of road closures in the area, so we had to like go all the way around Creation to get to this cottage. But we made it. So anyway, I will make this a short and quick episode. Sorry, I will try to find a better recording location because I know the big shiny window up there is not helping any. And I will continue to work on that for now. This is the only comfy chair I have right now. Working on that too. So anyway, I will continue trying to find a better location to record from, and I will see you guys next week I'm going to try and get back into a regular recording schedule now that I'm home, and I'm not planning on traveling anytime soon. I'm very glad I had a long weekend because I'm tired. So I will say, I convinced myself I was tired. There we go. I will say goodbye and ask you to all continue to please be kind to one another. Have a great week. Bye.